So a few years ago, I'm attending VidCon, staying at the same hotel as a lot of famous YouTubers. And by famous, I mean there were hundreds of their fans outside the hotel trying to get in. Now I'm a busy guy, and I don't have time for this. So as you can imagine, I'm coming up on this, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to present my ID, or at least flash my hotel key to get in. But being in a hurry and always up for an experiment, I just walked up to the front, looked at security, and said, "Excuse me." And sure enough, the guy looks at me, opens the door, and lets me in. Now, I'd like to think the security guard actually knew who I was, or maybe he was a fan of the channel. But the reality is more likely, he fell for the clipboard effect. Now, as the name of the effect implies, it's based off the phenomenon that if you're walking around with a clipboard and writing on it, people assume that you're working and that you're supposed to be there, even if you're not. And there's some funny videos out there in which people really press this experiment with other items like construction gear and ladders. Now, for this effect to work, the item has to make sense in the context of the situation. So in my case, I was wearing a suit, I was probably carrying a briefcase, and the second part, really important, you have to be confident. I mean, thinking back to that situation, I didn't even hesitate. I was staying at the hotel. I was probably in a bit of a hurry as I was headed to a meeting, and the security guard, to his credit, probably immediately recognized this guy looks the part, he's acting the part, he probably knows what he's doing. So that brings us to the question, how to dress like a man who knows what he's doing? Well, gentlemen, that's the subject of today's video. So Jen, starting things off, there are 3 reasons why style matters. First up, confidence and perception. When you look good, you feel good. It boosts your self-esteem. Next up, it creates positive first impressions. The reality is human beings are lazy. We use shortcuts. We have an idea of what a success looks like. And if you dress in a manner that you look successful, most people will treat you like you are successful. And let's talk about empowerment. When you're wearing the right clothing, you are more likely to take action, to act in a way that embodies the man that you are trying to be. And when I say trying to be, let me be clear. Every single day we have a choice to hide from the world, do nothing, be our worst self, or to step up, have courage, and to become the man we know ourselves to be. Getting dressed and wearing clothing that shows that you respect yourself is a simple and easy way for you to be perceived the way you want and to be more confident in yourself and your abilities. Gents, it's an easy way to get a quick win and a leg up on the day. Next up, let's talk about the psychology of first impressions. So first up, we've got human laziness, also called the science of heuristics. And this is where we use shortcuts to be able to make quick decisions about people. In a nutshell, the human brain is bombarded with information every single day. So it uses patterns in history to be able to create shortcuts to quickly make sense of the world, and it's often based off first impressions. Right with that, we've got the halo effect. And this is when you're perceived as well-dressed, as looking good. People associate other positive things with you. Oh, he's well-dressed. He must be a good leader. He must be intelligent. Now, as you watch this channel, you're probably both of those things, but really, is there a correlation between how we dress and our leadership and intelligence levels? Probably not to the degree that people associate with that halo effect. But it's a natural phenomenon. When you're pleasing to somebody in one area, they associate other good things with you. And if you can control your image, come off as a professional, you might as well take the other wins that come with it. And all that's compounded with social validation. When other people start to, hey, he dresses well, he's competent, and others start to note the way you're treated by others, all of a sudden has a snowball effect that can be positive in your favor. And let's not forget personal branding. Now, to do this, you've got to be consistent. But when I look at somebody like Tom Ford or another YouTuber, his name's Chris Do, I'll tell you, every time I see one of his videos, I know it's his because of his unique style, his unique look. And in a sense, he's leveraging his image, he's leveraging his style to be able to take his message and make it stick in the minds of his customers. Another guy that does this really well, Seth Godin. He's got that bald head, but also pay attention to those glasses. He's always got some fun, colorful glasses. And this look has become his brand. And what's interesting about this is it can be anything. It could be a unique hair color, it could be your facial hair, or maybe even your signature scent. So whether it's confidence, controlling the message, or ensuring that you are memorable, your style, your image matters. Now I know at this point some of you guys are, Antonio, I get it, but come on, keep it simple, keep it practical. I'm a busy guy, I'm a casual style kind of guy. What can I wear on a daily basis that makes me look like I'm a man who knows what he's doing? Well, gents, here's a little bit of footage with me. Here I'm traveling in New York City. I'm with my daughters. This was around Christmas time. They wanted to see Rockefeller Center and all the stuff there. And this footage is just me the other day. I'm going to an ice skating event for my kids. And as you can see, the clothing I'm wearing, it's somewhat casual, but still professional because I got that collared shirt and I'm wearing a layered look that looks good, right? Well, gents, all the clothing that I just showed you can be found over at today's sponsor, Collars & Co. Now, gents, for years, I've been talking about Collars & Co. because I love what this business is all about. Years ago, they popped up on Shark Tank because they wanted to solve the problem of the uncomfortable dress shirt. You know what I'm talking about, that dress shirt that you're trying to wear under a jacket or under a sweater, trying to layer, and it just doesn't doesn't feel or look good. Well, they created a new shirt in the industry called the dress shirt polo. In a nutshell, it's got a strong collar that can be layered with sweaters, with jackets, and with any combination you want to throw at it. That collar is going to maintain its shape. It is going to hold up. But building off that innovation, gents, they have expanded. In fact, if you haven't been over to their website, you are in for a treat. They've now got an amazing collection of knitwear. So if you're looking for a professional sweater that's going to look great with your dress collar polo, they've got you covered over at Collars & Co. And by the way, if you're curious as to what jacket this is that I'm wearing here, this is their new Davos puffer jacket. And what I really liked about this jacket was the sleek fit and the contrasting material between the torso and the sleeves. It also comes with a functional hood that you can take off. And overall, I just think it looks really good. And by the way, if you want to dress it up, you want to look like the man in charge, check out their Maverick Performance Blazer. So as you guys know, I got a lot of jackets in my collection, but when I'm traveling, this is the jacket I reach for because it's wrinkle resistant. It's got a performance stretch fabric, so it's incredibly comfortable. And if it gets dirty, this thing is machine washable. So gents, if you've been looking for a performance blazer, one jacket that can do everything, this is it. So gents, get over to Collars & Co. Check them out. I'm linking to them down in the description of today's video with the best deal you're going to find out there on the web. And guys, again, if you're looking to get started, go grab one of their dress shirt polos. This is the product that put them on the map. And when it comes to having a shirt that's comfortable, that wicks away moisture, that you can dress up, you can dress down, this is the shirt that you want to grab. Go with a color that you already have, one that you know you're going to get miles out of, and you will find this is going to become the most worn shirt in your wardrobe. So again, gents, use that link in the description of today's video to get the best deal on the web when it comes to Collars & Co. So now let's hit the style fundamentals. First up, fit is king. Now when it comes to fit, the best thing you can do is buy clothing that actually fits you off the rack. However, if you need to, take your clothing to get adjusted. But there are certain adjustments that just aren't going to happen. And again, you need to make sure you buy the right size. First up, for any jacket, for any shirt, you need to make sure it fits you in the shoulders. The shoulder points should end right there at the shoulder. I know that sounds obvious, but I see so many guys buy shirts that are way too large. The shoulder point is going down the sleeve, and it's just not a good look and definitely not a good fit. Now, with sleeve length, that is something that you can get adjusted. On suit jackets, it should be wherever you bought the jacket, but if not, take it to your tailor. On shirts, especially dress shirts, they can make the adjustment. It may be a little bit pricey though, because they'll have to take the cuff off, shorten it up, but they can do it. And if that shirt's more than an inch too long, it's definitely going to improve the look. But this next one is huge, and so many guys don't do it, and that is the trouser length. We're talking the bottom of the trousers. You want to get those trousers hemmed. And again, the easiest thing here is to know the name of your tailor. Have a seamstress or a tailor you can take your items to and have them adjust. But if you want to do it yourself, which is relatively easy, just simply check out the tutorials we've got here at Real Men Real Style, which I will link to down in the description, or maybe get something like hem tape and do it yourself. That being said, this next one is a little bit more advanced, and that is to adjust the taper of the trousers. That's where we slim them up. This one you may actually want to go to a tailor, or you want to be pretty good with a sewing machine. And lastly, don't be afraid of darts, unless you're playing against bullseye. In that case, get out of the room. But seriously, the darts we're talking about are usually in the back of a shirt or on the sides of a jacket, and that's where we bring in some of the material to give it a more tapered fit in the torso. It's actually a relatively easy adjustment, especially on shirts. That being said, getting your clothing to fit you instantly will level up your style. The next step to dressing like a man who knows what he's doing is to pay attention to the build and the quality of the clothing that you're putting on your body. Now, up to this point, I haven't really talked a lot about casual clothing, but you can actually look like the man in charge, especially in the right environment, by wearing good quality, well-constructed casual clothing. This is evident especially in footwear. When you look at well-constructed boots, whether they're Western boots, whether they're work boots, or even in streetwear when we're getting into sneakers. Often the key differentiators here between something that's cheap and something that's quality made is the material that they use and the details in the stitching. You see, quality materials, whether it's worsted wool or it's leather, it just simply is going to cost more. When it comes to leathers, the quality leather is going to make up less of the hide, therefore it's just a premium because there's only so much of it. When it comes to worsted wools or really high thread cottons like we see in luxury shirts and luxury jackets, well, these fabrics are usually made in specific mills that specialize in weaving these fabrics, which are very tight, have high quality controls, and in the case of clothing, have a particular drape. This is the way the fabric is going to lay, basically the way it hangs on the body. Now, if none of that made sense, understand this. Good quality, well-made clothing, footwear, accessories, these things are usually going to cost more. The best thing you can do to understand quality is to get your hands on quality, to go in the best menswear store in your area and to touch a really nice jacket. to get your hands on a really well-made pair of boots. And what you're going to find when you're examining those really expensive pair of dress shoes is you're going to notice the stitching. You're going to notice the build quality. You're going to notice all these details that are poorly replicated or completely missing in cheaper items. Now understand, I'm not saying you always have to spend a lot of money to get great quality, but I will warn you that if you don't take the time to understand the basics of build quality and construction, you're more likely to get ripped off. So the next step to looking like a man who knows what he's doing is not to look like a clown. Gents, what I'm talking about here is to understand the basics for color coordination in a man's wardrobe. So rule number 1, neutrals are your friend. Now neutrals are going to be those base colors that you build everything else on. We're talking navies, blacks, grays, whites, khakis. These colors are your foundation and in most cases are going to make up over 80% of your wardrobe. Seriously, in my case, I think they probably make up more than 90% of my wardrobe. And although that may sound boring, it's not. You see, having a base wardrobe of neutral colored clothing enables you to build a wardrobe that's relatively interchangeable. Which, if you're not familiar with that concept, come on, watch more of my videos, but I talk about the power of interchangeability. You can own less clothing, get more combinations out of it. And yeah, as you can see by the equation here, you can have 16 pieces of clothing and have over 256 combinations. Now what about the fun colors? Reds, golds, orange. So these are accent colors, and I'm going to encourage you, for the most part, to reserve these to accessories like pocket squares, neckties. Occasionally bring them into patterns on a shirt, but think colors like this as spices in a dish. They should bring out the flavor, not overpower it. Seriously, if you've ever added too much salt to soup, what do you got to do? You've got to add more water, you've got to make more soup because you really can't extract it. And yeah, too much color, too much brightness can really overpower, ruin an outfit. Now what about burgundy, olive green, deep purple? Some of these colors that you guys know, hey, this looks great on me. Every time I wear this color, I get compliments. How do you bring that into your wardrobe? So colors like this, I like to call accentuating colors. These ones work for your skin tone. They don't fit in the neutrals, they're not as bright as accents, but these are colors that you gravitate towards because you naturally know they look good on you. Well, gents, when you find colors like this, don't be afraid to throw them into your wardrobe. These ones can easily make up 10 to 15% of a well-dressed man's closet. And when it comes to matching, gents, don't be afraid of color blocking. So what I mean by that is when it comes to footwear, when it comes to trousers, when it comes to shirts, when it comes to jackets, you've got set colors that you in general gravitate towards with those particular items. An easy example here is footwear. A lot of men that go towards black dress shoes go towards black boots. They like most of their shoes dark, aka black. And if you think about it, it makes sense because all your belts are black or they're made to match dark colored shoes. So if you were to bring in a pair of light tan shoes, you may like them, but all of a sudden you're having an issue finding other accessories they work with. They don't seem to work with most of the trousers that you've selected for your collection of black shoes. Now again, gents, everything I'm talking about here are general guidelines. You can always break the rules, especially when you start to understand the foundations of style. And you realize those foundations, those guidelines can actually be bent because you know that, hey, I can bring in a red shirt, I can bring in a light pink shirt, and you like the way it looks. Gents, all the more power to you. If you can wear it with confidence, go for it. So now, gents, I want to talk about accessories. Earlier in this video, we talked about defining pieces that, in a sense, build up your personal brand. I think when it comes to jewelry, when it comes to glasses, when it comes to certain accessories, if you become, the guy that always wears neckties with that tie bar, you can develop a reputation. It's not a bad thing, but people that don't know you, they're like, oh yeah, he's the guy that's always got a bit of jewelry on. He's the guy in the marketing part that's always got interesting glasses, whether they're blue, whether they're purple. So you've even got those yellow frames. And again, this could be a great thing because as the late great Nudie Cohen said, it's better to be looked over than overlooked. However, if you're going to go this route, make sure that you do it the right way. I'd read a story about a guy that got really big into watches, but he couldn't afford a really nice, he basically got fake Rolexes and he was wearing them around. And there was another guy that came in and, had a real Rolex and he saw the fake one, immediately asked about it. And the guy that was wearing a fake, to his credit, admitted that it was a fake, but apparently this really turned off the other guy and he ended the conversation. And yeah, it was a Reddit story, so I don't know what happened afterwards or even if it was true. Point being, though, is really, I would much rather you buy a less expensive, just buy a nice Seiko. And wear it with confidence, have fun, but avoid fakes. Avoid items or accessories that, are imitations or aren't the real deal. Because believe it or not, there's even a study out there, I remember reading years ago, about how when somebody's wearing something fake or they're going for something that's second best, they actually sometimes feel like they're not worthy enough. And gents, there's no reason for you to ever feel that way, especially when there are tons of options out there that are incredibly affordable. And seriously, gents, that's one of the things I'm really proud about with this channel is that, yes, sometimes I talk about expensive clothing, but I want you to have the knowledge to be able to go out there and dress in a manner that you could look like the man in charge, not having to resort to ever feeling like a fraud. Because the reality is, gents, if you're watching this channel, if you're looking to improve yourself, if you are taking steps on a daily basis to improve your mind, improve your image, and improve the way that you treat people, you consistently build on your knowledge base, I can tell you, you are going places. And with that being said, gents, if you want more, I've got another video for you right here. I know I could have gone a lot deeper on today's video, but hey, I've always got another video for you guys to go check out. And that's it, guys. Take care. I will see you in the next video. And don't forget, get down there in the description. I've always got additional articles and details, more information over at realmenrealstyle.com so that you can become the man you know yourself to be.